Buddy Lindsay here from Go Django. Today I want to talk to you about something that can kind of frustrate you and your users during a deployment if you're not aware of what's going on. And that's the fact that Django pulls templates directly from disk and it doesn't cache them. So what does that mean? That means that whenever you do a request, the Django code goes to your HTML template that you have, your Django template, and pulls that and renders it out. Whereas the Python code that's being used is actually cached. It actually builds those .pyc files or the _pycache folder and stores a bytecode version of what's going on and for that to be rendered. And that's only ever executed one time when you start Gunicorn or UWSGI. So what can happen? What am I talking about? Well, you might not have hit this or you might have hit this and you don't understand what's going on. So let's say you have a list of videos. We're going to use Go Django as an example. A list of videos in your database, and you want to display those on an index page. Well, before you were doing some weird math manipulation and you were putting that in your template to be able to show the total runtime. Well, now in this realm of iteration on your code base, you've decided to take that math that you were doing and put that on a method inside of the model, the video model that you're going to display to everyone. Well, when you go to push that code out, the templates make it first there because you do a get pull, and it pulls the code down to the disk. And if somebody tries to hit that page immediately before you restart Gunicorn, it's going to throw an error because you're calling video.totalRuntime, and video.totalRuntime doesn't exist yet because Gunicorn hasn't run. So this throws a 500 error, it annoys your users, and if you have logging set up, it's going to throw a bunch of logs, and depending on what's going on, let's say you have a long migration to go, you're going to be sitting there staring at all these emails, all these alerts coming in until that entire deploy process is done, and it gets very, very frustrating. I know a few things that I've done, we've not realized that we have put a method in and we're deploying it out at the same time as we're doing a really long migration. And all of a sudden we start seeing alerts and it's like, well, I guess we get to wait a little while for that to happen. So that's kind of the background of what can happen and something kind of for you to be aware of so that you don't frustrate your users. Because if they come to the site and it's not working and it's their first time, they could get a really bad taste in their mouth. So what can you do about it to solve that problem? Well, there's a few different things you can do. One, you can go ahead and push out in different deployments, depending on how you do it, the code that's in your models. So you push out your model changes with the method that you're on there, and that gets out there, it's sitting there, it's ready to go. And then in the next step, you push out your templates. That can actually work for a whole host of issues that you can run into when dealing with models and dealing with other Python code, dealing with migrations and things like that. We can cover some of that in a later video, the extent of doing that. But if the code is already out there in your model, before you push out your templates, then that's going to be a lot better for not being able to get these errors in. So what's another way to handle it? Another way to handle it is to check to see if that method or property is even on the object inside of your template. And if it isn't, then it's just going to move on and it's not even going to do anything. The other possibility is you can do fragment caching. This is kind of a weirder one, and I don't really recommend this approach, but you do fragment caching so that it updates, at a periodic time, like maybe every day or something like that. And this can allow you to push out the new code. The fragment cache won't update yet, potentially, and so it gives you enough time and enough space in the time for that deployment to actually happen. This can still lead to the same issue if somebody's, if you have very specific cache going on and it doesn't load in correctly. So this isn't actually the best solution, but it's a way to mitigate it. And then finally, you can make a decision not to worry about it because it's going to happen so little that you just ignore the problem. That is actually a viable solution in this day of development, especially with a lot of front-end apps that don't necessarily use the Django templates anymore, because we're doing a lot of front-end single-page applications that's hitting a REST framework or some sort on the back end and bringing in information. At that point, you don't need to really worry about the templates. But there are times that you're using the templates and you really need to be aware of this. So with that, I hope that gives you kind of something else to think about when you're doing your deployments and your development, or you're getting these alerts that seem really odd and you're not sure why you're getting them and they randomly go away. So with that, I hope you have a great day. Please like us, subscribe, and leave comments below, and I'll do my best to answer them and definitely ask questions, and I can see about doing a video on it. I want to thank you for watching and have a great day.